Ever since we saw that leaked concept image of the new Stormtrooper helmet, I've always really liked the design. I've always loved the First Order Stormtrooper design. Ever since 2015, The Force Awakens, all the way up to now, The Rise of Skywalker. I haven't seen the new movie as of filming this video, but it's coming out. I probably will have seen the movie by the time this video comes out. But still no spoilers in the comments, please. I really love this figure. This is the Hot Toys First Order Stormtrooper. MMS317. It is their high-end 1/6 scale Stormtrooper figure, and I'm very happy with it. This is my very first Hot Toys. I own 4 sideshows, and this is my very first Hot Toys. That's because it's very cheap. It's a very inexpensive Hot Toys. Perhaps one of the cheapest you can buy. I only got this thing for $125, which is about maybe like 80 bucks less than the original retail. And I think it was definitely worth $125, including shipping is what I paid. It's a really good figure, man. I really love it. I can definitely feel the difference in quality between Hot Toys and Sideshow, and I will talk about that a little bit. But first up, before we talk about the figure itself, I want to discuss the box, just because it's very nice and pretty. So it doesn't have the nice window flap that the Sideshow boxes have, unfortunately. But you do have a really nice image of the figure there. Kind of in the normal Sideshow vein, but except it doesn't have it on the sides or the back. It's very plain. You can see all just the legal stuff. Do you want me to read every single piece of legality to you? I will do that. You can see it's very basic, very plain, and it just slides. You slide it out. A lot of people plop it. I don't want to plop it, man. That's going to damage the package. Because that's definitely this is definitely a box you want to keep around. Because, I mean, if you have to sell this thing, you don't want to not have a box. So you get this really nice poster. This was a surprise. I opened it up and boom, this is this cool poster. It does kind of have some flaps here you would have to do something with or just fold over. But yeah, you could probably frame this, probably just, you know, do whatever. That's just some images of the figure itself. And that's pretty nice. And it protects the figure on the inside. You can see, please read instruction sheet. And I was thinking that instruction sheet, which is right here, would show me the ranges of motion, because I know a lot of Hot Toys do that. Basically, all it's saying is, that's how you move the feet. The guns are magnetic. Caution, X. All the armor parts on the figure are non-detachable. Don't try to pull them off, otherwise the figure may get damaged. Even though I think some of them are just Velcro. But still, you don't need to do it. Then don't pull off the indicated neck piece, which isn't, you know, doesn't really apply to this figure because it's, you know, just a normal trooper. It's not an officer. And that's it. It doesn't talk about the range of motion or anything, so I'm going to show you guys that. You can see in here the trays. I left all the plastic in there. You get free silica gel with a Hot Toys logo on it, so that's epic. But yeah, that's pretty much it. So let's talk about the figure itself. And this thing is pretty sweet, my man. It's pretty sweet. So I love the design. I really do. I just want to show off some comparisons right now. Here it is with the pretty much 1/6 scale, but slightly smaller Black Series helmet. And you can just see the detail. I mean, the Black Series one has a lot of the detail, but it's not nearly as nice as the Hot Toys. The Hot Toys is just amazing. Then another comparison with a First Order Stormtrooper. Here it is with the Black Series articulated one. Just to kind of show that off, because you can see, hey, it's a Hot Toys, it's pretty big. I didn't want to get one of my normal troopers out because he's in the back of the shelf, but here it is with FN2187 Black Series 6-inch. I decided to keep this guy. I didn't keep a lot of my 6-inch stuff, but I kept like 1, 2 of each of the First Order guys, especially FN2187, because that's my favorite. It's my favorite scene in The Force Awakens. And then here's the Lego one. Lego, and they're slightly off-white. You can just see right there. That's adorable. Anyways, that's comparisons out of the way. He comes with hands. Let's talk about what he comes with first. So he comes with hands. You can see this hand right here is kind of just the grip hand. He will grip things with this hand, but it's also nice. It's also nice and gestural. Of course, he has a trigger finger hand, which he is holding his pistol with, and then he has that on both hands, so you can see the details on the glove. Looks pretty good. Looks pretty good. And then, of course, you also have, if you want to make him a lefty, you have the same kind of mirrored hand for the right. Then you have 2 fists, and on these 2 fists, I have the extra pegs oh my gosh. You have the extra pegs you get. You get 2 extra pegs with this guy, which I really appreciate in case you break them, or you just want extra pegs. So you can see that's how the peg moves. Then you get 2 fists, so not just the one, even though that's so useless. Then you do have a left gesture hand. You can really see the detail of the glove. in this hand. Looks pretty nice, man. I like the design of the First Order Trooper gloves. So you get those alternate hands. And then, of course, you get his F11, which is the E11, but now it's white. Yeah, I actually really love the look of the F11. It does have the stock, which you can fold that down, and then you have to unclip this. And it's kind of scary, and I hate doing it. I would definitely do it around the base. And this is why I keep my thumbnail long, okay, people? This is why I do it. For these exact reasons. So I don't break anything by just using it with my big old man-hand fingers. There we go. There's the stock. Looks good. Looks good. I like that option. Even though it's not like the nice full stock that some modified F11s have. I don't believe anything else is removable or articulated on this weapon. Then you just kind of plug it back in right there. There you go. There's his F11. And as you saw, it can magnetically attach to his hip. So you can do that. Then you also have his pistol. The name of this escapes me, but because this is a high-end review, I'm actually going to bother to look it up. There is the name of the pistol. I actually really like this pistol. I actually have them with this more often than the F11, because I like having single-handed poses. And then, of course, it's, you know, magnetic as well, so that can also go on his hip. And that is nice. I like that. So let's just keep those weapons off of him as we get a little more hands-on. He also comes with his nice Hot Toys base. There was a film covering this. I decided to take it off. You can see it attracts dust. I've only had this thing. Look at all that dust. I've only had this thing for a few days, and it already has all this dust on it. So yeah, that's definitely something you want to regularly clean off. Then there's the name of the guy. And it does have the cradle as well. You can position. And I appreciate that. And it comes out and it can be positioned. So I like that base. Even though he actually stands pretty fine on his own. I can say that. He's pretty much stands fine on his own. So one thing I want to go over. I'm going to go over the details first. But I also really want to go over the ranges of motion you get with this guy. Because I don't want people to be moving this thing too much. Of course, this figure is kind of old. Most people who want it probably already have it. But it's so cheap. I mean, if you love the First Order Stormtrooper design and you want a high-end 1/6 scale figure, this is a pretty good first figure to get. So look at those details, man. That is the First Order Stormtrooper. Look at that helmet. Look at those little rivets inside right there. That looks so nice. I'm really happy with this thing. It looks so cool. I wish they would have made a Hot Toys of that black First Order Stormtrooper that Hasbro packed in with a speeder. But that was kind of a non-canon design. You can see all the little black marks around the armor. This is the Force Awakens design, not the Last Jedi design. You can see right there. All the armor pieces are well detailed. The belt is a separate floating piece too, which I appreciate. That is non-removable. You also have a separate butt panel and a crotch guard, so that's funny. The thigh armor is kind of sitting loose there, but actually has a really nice tight hold. You can see the nice... Look at how sleek this thing looks. Look at how sleek it is. It's so shiny. It looks so much like the film. It seriously looks like it just jumped right out of the movie, and I love it so much. It's gorgeous. You can see the zipper right back there. I'm not sure if that's a film-accurate detail or not, but you might want to try to hide that or something. It's on the back, though, but you can see the zipper to the undersuit. And you can see it was actually not even zipped all the way. So, I mean, it needs to be there for the practical assembly of the figure, but you just have the helmet slightly tilted up and you won't see it at all. So, that's pretty much it with the details. The First Order Stormtrooper is a very basic design. You do have the rubber undersuit right there, as well as kind of the pleather undersuit for some other aspects. But you have that ribbed rubber for the knees and the elbows. And I need to talk about that because that's actually a really important detail, especially with the articulation. So talking about how he moves, his head and neck are on ball joints, so you can get a lot of range out of that. I actually really like how that moves. Works really nice. Just make sure the neck isn't bumping into or make sure the helmet isn't bumping into the chest because it might scuff. But it's a pretty durable figure. I wouldn't worry too much about it. The shoulders actually have a pretty good amount of range because there's a lot of loose fabric there. You can move the shoulders pretty much all the way forward. I wouldn't move it more than that. You can pretty much move them all the way out as well. And there's so much loose fabric there. I'm not worried about it tearing whatsoever. The shoulder pads are kind of loose floating, so that's pretty useful. You do have a butterfly joint as well. You can kind of get some wiggle out of the shoulder. And that is kind of a separate armor piece right there, sort of. So that will kind of flex, but I wouldn't really do it too much. You do have a bicep swivel. Then this is what I need to really show you, the elbow right here. So I haven't heard of anyone's Stormtrooper having any tearing issues as long as you don't go over 90 degrees. So boom, we hit 90 degrees. You can see how the rubber kinks up right there, especially if I move the armor. You can see how the rubber kinks up and how the rubber stretches. So yeah, I wouldn't move it any more than 90 degrees, any more than you're probably going to tear it. That's unfortunate, but that's just the design, you know? If you want it to be accurate to the design, you can't have crazy articulation. And then the hands you already saw on those loose hands, how the articulation on that works. Pretty nice, pretty fluid. The torso, a lot of the motion is hindered by the armor. But you can see you can get some range, you can get a little bit of crunch, you can just move it a little bit. I'm trying to be careful because, I mean, it's not a cheap figure. The hips. This is what disappoints me the most because some other figures I have, some other high-ender figures, that's funny. You can move the legs way more, but I feel like there's just not enough fabric there to comfortably move it much. You can see I feel like that's as comfortable as I feel like moving the legs out. And if you keep one, you might be able to move it out a little bit more. That's as comfortable as I feel with that. You can see the belt can actually get out of the way for you too. I appreciate that. Moving forward though, this really sucks. I don't feel comfortable moving it more forward than that. Because you can see, if you look in there, how all of the fabric is just kind of... he kicked the camera. All the fabric is just kind of stretching and contorting. I wouldn't... The leg motion's really just for subtle standing poses and kind of more action standing. You're not going to get him kneeling. You're not going to get him running. You're not going to get him sitting. Unfortunate, I know, but... I mean, they tried to keep the materials authentic, and I understand that. The knees, same kind of situation with the elbows there. I wouldn't feel more comfortable moving it more than that. You can see right there, how the rubber's kind of... It's not breaking yet, but it's just how it's stretching. I'm worried. That's the most I've ever bent the knee. I know I usually don't bend it more than that. So yeah, you can see how it kind of like changes in texture right there. You kind of see it looks slightly different. Hopefully it's not stretching and breaking. But I've seen some of the points of the rubber where it's looking like that. So definitely be careful with those rubber. And then the ankles, I'm so happy they don't use like the wrist peg system that the Sideshow figures I have do. Because the ankles are on double balls, baby. It's kind of funny how it's clear right there. Worried that's going to break at some point. You get a lot of range out of the ankles. Just be careful with the ball joints and the ranges on everything. Because this is a high-end figure. This is not like a toy. It's not something you can just play around with. But I feel comfortable generally posing it. With the legs, this is pretty much the most I ever do with the legs. I do something like that. It's unfortunate, I know, but what can you do? But he can stand up pretty fine on his own. I have no problem standing it up. Feels fine. So I want to get just one high-end comparison. I'm not going to compare him with all my Sideshows. I just want to compare him with my Sideshow Stormtrooper Commander, just so you can see that, yeah, there's definitely a difference here when it comes to some of the qualities. Like the Sideshow, I still love the Sideshow Stormtrooper Commander, right? But you can see the paint is a little uneven on that brow there, and some of the joints are kind of loose on the Sideshow, but then again, because of the undersuit material, because it's not rubber like the First Order Trooper, it moves way more fluently. I can get him kneeling, I can get him running, I can get his elbows bent deeper. He's more posable, but he's not as durable in my opinion. I feel like his body would more easily break than him. The only durability issue I fear with this guy is the rubber tearing at some point. I'm really hoping that doesn't happen. It's just something you just really got to look out for. But overall, man, I really like the Hot Toys First Order Stormtrooper. I'm happy it's my first Hot Toys. My second Hot Toys is probably going to be Commander Cody. I do have that on pre-order. I am going to get that. But I'm also kind of debating getting the Hot Toys Flame Trooper as well. I'm thinking about getting that because I love the Flame Trooper design. I think it's a pretty cool First Order Trooper. I wish they would have made the Elite TIE Pilot instead of just the normal TIE Pilot, but what can you do? They made what they made. I don't want the normal one. I want the Elite one with the red stripes. There we go. There is the Hot Toys First Order Stormtrooper from The Force Awakens. They did not make a Last Jedi version because this figure apparently didn't sell really well. That's why I only got it for $125 many years later. Because I guess they just made way too many. I guess the demand wasn't there to army build it. I understand that. But I think it's a really good figure. The only issue I would warn about is the hip motion and the rubber. You just have to be careful. That's just the design. That's the nature of the beast with the First Order Stormtrooper. And there's better ways. I mean, with an action figure, you can see it pretty much only goes 90 because of the design anyway. But look at the Black Series one. The old Black Series couldn't even bend 90 degrees. That's literally all it could do. And then even look at the Lego one. It doesn't have any help. Anyways, yeah, there we go. There's my review. I really enjoyed this guy. One extra bonus if you stayed till the end. I also got the shipper box. It was made in China, guys. Hot Toys. U.S. item number 902536. MMS317. 16 figure SW7ST. Wow. I think that's pretty epic. Okay, guys. There we go. There's my review. I recommend this thing. If you like it, go get it. But if you're kind of on the fence, it's definitely something you could maybe use that money towards a different Hot Toys. Like the Sith Trooper's coming out, but he may have the same rubber issues. You could just get like the Remnant Stormtrooper from Mandalorian. Looks really cool. Should I get the freaking Mandalorian Heavy Gunner Hot Toys? I'm really tempted to get that. I'm so tempted to get that. But anyways, I'm going to end this video here. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to comment, like, and subscribe. Check out my social media links down in the description below, as well as my P.O. Box address. Have a good day, guys. See you in the next video. Adios. No spoilers for Rise of Skywalker in the comments. Spoil Last Jedi all you want, though. Luke Skywalker got roasted!